Look, I have had this on my mind all week because our rookie class has officially checked into training camp to kick off the next phase of the Houston Texans season. These newcomers have a golden week of head starts before the veterans arrive on July 29th, and there are two things we need to break down here. The immediate adjustment of these rookies and what their rise means for our depth chart potential. Seeing these fresh faces fighting for 53-man roster spots is the best part of the summer. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city below. Let's get into it. The wait is finally over for the Houston Texans as our talented rookie class has officially arrived at the Houston Methodist Training Center to kick off their formal preparation for the upcoming season. After a long interval following the conclusion of the offseason program, these newcomers now have a critical week of individual adjustment before the full roster reports on July 29th. This year's draft class is particularly intriguing because it includes several potentially impactful names on both sides of the ball who are now tasked with earning their stripes. Keelan Rutledge, our first-round pick, highlights this group as he aims to secure a starting role while transitioning from right guard to center. We have seen him take reps at both positions during OTAs and minicamp, and his ability to master that internal shift will dictate the early success of our offensive line. What makes this even bigger is the depth of talent following him, including second-round defensive lineman Caden McDonald, who is navigating his own move into a four-man front, and tight end Marlon Klein, who is now back to full health after a frustrating hamstring strain. We are also keeping a close eye on wide receiver Lewis Bond, who impressed as a sixth-rounder, and seventh-round linebacker Aiden Fisher, who brings a resume featuring nearly 100 tackles and 10.5 TFLs from his time in college. The anticipation among us fans is palpable because these young men represent the future foundation of the franchise under the direction of D'Amico Ryans. Seeing these players stake their claims on the 53-man roster creates a sense of optimism that reminds us of the high standards set by Cal Mcnair. However, we have to wonder how much this internal competition will actually shift the established depth chart once the veterans arrive on the field. The most surprising reality facing our franchise is that we are actively preparing for a total offensive line reconfiguration, despite the success we enjoyed last season. This shift stems from our front office choosing to trade up in the first round to secure Keelan Rutledge, a deliberate decision to address the interior long-term. Historically, transitioning a college guard to the professional center position is a risky gamble that has often backfired for organizations. Yet our coaching staff clearly believes Rutledge possesses the mental processing required to anchor the line. And here's why that's a big deal. He must now prove he can handle the complex blocking calls against veteran defensive fronts that are significantly faster than anything he saw during his collegiate career. Behind closed doors, D'Amico Ryans and his staff are likely evaluating whether Rutledge can master the playbook before the July 29th deadline, knowing that if he fails, the depth chart becomes remarkably thin. While the Texans have historically relied on continuity, the move to draft both Rutledge and defensive lineman Caden McDonald via trade signals an aggressive win-now mentality that contrasts with the more conservative roster building we witnessed several years ago. The front office is betting that these specific rookies can provide immediate value on their cost-controlled contracts, which is essential as we navigate the financial complexities of the league. We are essentially watching a high-stakes chess match where the goal is to integrate youth into a winning culture without sacrificing the stability of our core starters. For those of us who have followed this team for decades, seeing this level of calculated aggression during the offseason program is refreshing. We need these young men to step up quickly because the parity across the league means that every single rep in training camp carries substantial weight toward our ultimate postseason goals. So that is the official news update, but now let us look at the bigger picture and what this arrival actually means for our squad. And this is the part that gets me, because these incoming rookies are not just depth pieces. They represent the foundation upon which head coach D'Amico Ryans is building his vision for the future. The stakes are incredibly high right now as this transition period at the training center serves as the final filter before the regular season grind kicks off under Cal Mcnair. Integrating these young talents into the active roster immediately impacts our depth chart, forcing veterans to elevate their game or risk losing their standing. If players like Keelan Rutledge successfully anchor the middle, it stabilizes the entire offensive line, which is the cornerstone for success against tough AFC rivals. We must recognize that the way these rookies perform in these early sessions directly dictates our ability to control the clock and sustain drives during those critical late-season matchups. Strengthening the defensive front with Caden McDonald and testing new depth at linebacker provides the coaching staff with the versatility needed to rotate players and keep legs fresh for a playoff push. If we can secure these positions now, our chances against division opponents look vastly more favorable than they did this time last year. Every rep taken over the next month helps solidify our identity and builds the chemistry required to compete at the highest level in January. We are looking at a roster that is deeper and more capable of handling the physical attrition of a 16-game schedule than we have seen in quite some time. It is a vital period of growth that will ultimately determine if this team has the staying power to remain a legitimate contender deep into the winter. The arrival of our rookie class at training camp serves as the official starting gun for a season defined by potential and necessary growth. The strongest argument for this move lies in the immediate infusion of talent at critical positions, particularly with Keelan Rutledge and Caden McDonald. By securing these high-upside prospects, we are actively strengthening our trenches, which is the foundational philosophy behind any championship-caliber squad. And that changes everything regarding how we stack up against the rest of the league. The counter-argument is just as clear as relying on rookies like Marlon Klein or 7th-round pick Aiden Fisher to contribute immediately carries inherent risk. Learning to navigate the speed of the NFL is a steep climb, and limited reps could lead to early struggles that force us to pivot toward veteran depth before September even begins. Analysts around the league have pointed out that both Rutledge and Jake Andrews are being heavily scrutinized for that starting center role, while others highlight the pressure on McDonald to adapt his skill set. Here is where I land on this. While the media hype surrounding Lewis Bond is exciting, I believe it is overblown to assume he secures a permanent spot without consistent production against our top-tier starting cornerbacks during these next few weeks. What I really think is that we must temper our enthusiasm until we see these young men demonstrate they can handle the physical toll of a full training camp schedule. While it is wonderful to see so much youth fighting for roster spots, the reality of the game is that proven reliability often outweighs raw promise when the coaching staff decides on the final 53. I look forward to watching how this competition develops, as these players are the heartbeat of our future success in a very demanding AFC landscape. When you look at how these rookie arrivals fit into the broader roadmap for our franchise, it becomes clear that we are witnessing the start of a sustained era of depth and competitiveness that reaches far beyond this upcoming season. By investing in versatile pieces like Keelan Rutledge and Caden McDonald, the front office is clearly prioritizing adaptability to ensure that DeMeco Ryans can deploy a championship-caliber scheme for years to come. Now, here's the thing. As fans, we should feel genuinely optimistic about this group because these young men represent a foundation built on proven production and a high football IQ. We are not just hoping for flashes of talent. We are expecting these players to challenge established veterans for meaningful snaps right out of the gate. The sheer number of rookies fighting for roster spots shows that our team is no longer satisfied with just being a playoff contender, but is instead focused on creating a deep, reliable rotation across every single unit on the field. This commitment to internal development is exactly what keeps a franchise healthy and dangerous during long winter campaigns. It is an exciting time to be part of the Texans faithful, especially seeing how hungry these newcomers are to contribute to our winning culture immediately. Looking at these 5 names, do you believe Keelan Rutledge will successfully transition to center and secure the starting job by the first week of the season? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Toro time. I'll see you in the next one. Whether you are rooting for a deep playoff run or just hoping to see some explosive offensive production this year, stay tuned because we will be breaking down every single snap of the upcoming training camp starting right now.